On today's show, I have Shiney and Briana with me today, and we talk about why Briana hates her life, why my mammogram scans are of concern to the doctors, and we also talk about culture and why Shiney felt not seen as a young brown Indian woman, Indian girl. And yeah, when we speak, we are on a roller coaster of conversations. So come and join us. Hope you enjoy. Hi, I am your host, Leonette Talley, and you are listening to Virago 24/7. Virago is Latin for female warrior, and 24/7 is for all day, every day. Virago 24/7 is a weekly podcast that brings diverse women together to talk about life and our experiences in this world. We share our views on self-love, mental health, marriage, children, friendships, and really anything that needs to be talked about. Here, you will find everyday growth, everyday healing with everyday warriors. Hello. Hi. I'm glad we're all here today. We came in a little bit on the sleepy side, the three of us. Yes. This one over here, little nugget, comes in, and I want to know more. How are you doing? And what'd you say?
I hate my life.
Just like that. So we all want to know, why do you hate your life, right, Shiney? We want to know. Yes, we're like, please. What is happening?
Because people need to pay attention to who they have babies with.
Oh, damn. Tell us more.
If I could give any advice to any young person out there.
Don't get pregnant.
And I hate saying that because I love the shit out of my kids. But
just let it out. Oh, wow. Hate is a strong word, Brie.
And I mean it with every fiber of my being.
Okay. But let me just tell you, because I
know you're not supposed to hate people.
And reading. Oh, no. But I wasn't going to go in that direction. I was going to say that hate is linked to love because it's you still holding on to things and being disappointed about expectations that were not met.
Just be a good human. That's the only expectation I have.
Your goal is going to be indifference.
Yeah.
Actually, I agree with Shiney.
Yeah.
There's still feelings there, and that's why you have these big emotions. When
Hatred.
you don't give a shit, when you're like you said, neutral, you don't feel any of it.
I've been co-parenting for almost 12 years now, so my expectation is that my kids have their fathers in their lives.
This has motivated her to know what she wants, because I think the beauty, and I know that this is what I'm going to do, is see that in this is sometimes when someone makes us so angry, it forces us to think in a different perspective and see no, why am I settling for this? I need this. This is better for me.
What does she do?
She doesn't have to explain anymore. She doesn't have to, she should try her best to not even engage. Accept that this is how he is. And now what do I do about it?
Yeah.
Because you're right. You can't change anyone.
I think the back and forth, and I've said this, but I think everyone needs to get to their own place.
Oh, totally.
Of accepting. I would just leave him on red, and that's it. I think you go back and forth with him, and I know it's because you feel like if I say this, it's going to change his perspective. It hasn't worked, and it only frazzles you even more and pisses you off even more. And
hurts you.
Yeah, and I think hopefully you'll get to a place where you don't feel like you have to engage.
True.
I know it's so hard. I've been there with other people, not necessarily a baby daddy. Well, yeah, for a short while, actually. It just seems like such a long time ago. He's a long distance memory.
It's just a lose-lose. Everything is a lose-lose. I'm losing.
That's what it feels like right now. It's not going to feel like this forever. I know it does feel like that. And you and I have had that conversation before. But I think step one is to just disengage.
So that's where you're stuck because you are a giving, caring mom, and the expectation that he will be anything like that. It's hard.
It's going to get better. You're just going to have to control how you respond. You can't do anything for him.
Exactly.
This is it, man.
And we can say this all day long, but it is your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been in similar positions with various people, with, narcissistic qualities. Because we can't diagnose anybody, but anyone who's
Bree and I will.
Yeah.
Oh, Bree and I diagnose all day long.
Yep.
He bipolar.
Yep.
She a narcissist. She a bitch.
Yep.
overly selfish.
I'm a
She's
psychologist,
evil.
Really.
overly selfish people.
Yeah.
It's hard. But the truth is that we all have to acknowledge is someone who has any narcissistic tendencies is only thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about, our kids or our loved ones or our friends and definitely not us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one to swallow.
Yeah.
Because you are the way you are. Because you are a giving, caring, loving, over the top person who goes above and beyond. It is super hard to accept. Not only do we want you to build your confidence, we feel confident in you. I can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
It's not something that we're going to fearmonger about money, time, what will happen.
Exactly. What are they going to say about you? I think what's holding you right now, there's a wall in front of you, and it's all those things, the money, your alcoholism, all these things that you think are going to be thrown back in your face. Who cares? You own it. This is who you are. Your concerns are valid, but we need to kick that wall down.
Yeah, and change it is, instead of you wanting to see him the way you are, we want you to see yourself the way we see you.
Exactly.
Because you are a
that's good
badass.
point.
Thank you.
And that's what's stopping her.
Yeah,
Is that you are lacking that confidence in yourself.
The first time we recorded, I said, Briana, you're incredible. You are so young. You don't see what I see.
Yeah.
And I don't know you even an ounce of how Leonette knows you. But what I do is incredible.
Yeah.
You are a mom who goes above and beyond, and I'm a mom too. And not all moms are like that. Like, not all moms are innately so nurturing and so, and they don't have to be. We come in all different shapes and sizes, colors, everything. But again, back to, you're so young and you know how important your kids are. You brought them into this world and you are responsible for them. And that's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
So chin up, knockers out, head up.
I watch, what is it? Miss Maisel, something, the Marvelous Miss Maisel, and that's what she says, chin up, tits out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like
Chin
that,
up,
yeah.
tits out.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. Oh, speaking of tits, we're going to take this down the road. So this morning I had an appointment. So you all know about my high cholesterol, if you listen to the past shows. Yeah. So high cholesterol, glucose levels, and then I had I had to go get a mammogram because I haven't done it since after I turned 40. So it's been about 3 years. And so my right breast, I guess they found something. So I went back this morning and now I need a freaking biopsy on my tits.
Can you feel it?
No, it's not even a lump. They call it calcification, which I read is probably nothing, but also it could be. I think they're just taking precautions. I'm not worried, to be honest. I know this happens to women every single day.
Did they give you like a probability or
No, but I Googled it.
what did that say?
The Google says there's a great chance there's nothing.
Okay.
Yes.
Like a high percentage. Right, Shiney?
Yes, and I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone knows, any medical professional knows that it's going to be Googled.
And I'm thinking because I had my breast reduction, I'm like, well, maybe my tissue, like something happened because I did have surgery 2 years ago. So I'm not worried. But Missy over here, like I'm texting the girls. I'm like, hey, I'm on my appointment, just updating them because we were going to record today. And she's like, oh my gosh. Oh, it was really cute. You're sweet. But I'm calm, cool, and collected. And if it is something more serious, then
I was like, why is she? And she said the C word in text message. I was like, no, don't say that word.
Well, I said, I don't think it is. But if it is cancer, then at least I'll get some nice perky implants. Because we're going to chop these babies off.
That word.
They're going to be perky. I get to pick out my size. It's going to be wonderful. And because I'm eating right, hopefully I'm losing weight.
Half full kind of gal.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, no high cholesterol, no glucose. Like, I'm going to be like, cancer out of my body. No, I don't want to joke about cancer, but I have to. It's weird, like when serious stuff comes up like this, I get very zen about it. And other things like, there's many things that are very trivial that work me up. I'm real calm right now.
Yeah, you were like super calm this morning. I was like, why the fuck is she being so calm?
It's going to be okay. So next Wednesday, we're going to get the biopsy, which I don't like needles like that, but they say they're going to numb me.
So then you should get the results by Friday?
They said 2 to 3 days, yeah. But I think it's going to be fine.
Will they call you or do you go in the office?
I don't know. I'm going to be in Dallas at a Cowboys game. I don't know. I'm not going to be available. I'm not going to be.
Hello.
You probably have a portal. And that's pretty fast.
I do. So I do have a portal.
Fast.
So the portal, I literally get it instantly, and then you have to read and all this like medical terms and stuff. But you get the gist of it. Yeah. And then later on they call is what has happened.
And usually it's no news is good news. If a doctor or any medical professional isn't calling you, that's a good sign.
That's true.
And I already said on our text, when in doubt, check it out.
That's true.
So prevention is the key.
So everyone send your prayers to me and my right boobie. Put all the prayers into that right boobie.
So that it's not nothing. A lump. So
no, it's like white spots that come up on the mammogram. I don't know. I Googled this. Nobody explained it to me. I was like, what are we talking about? So it's white spots, and I guess white spots could be cancerous, but
or they could be calcium buildup.
Calcium, yeah.
Calcium.
What causes calcium buildup?
Surgeries, injuries. What else did I read? Yeah, like, and I'm thinking, okay, because I had my surgery.
Sorry, how long before your breast reduction did you have your last mammogram? Do you know?
So I had my mammogram in 2021, like early 2021, and then I had my
in 2022, right?
Late 2022. So like, yeah, and so they're comparing that to this new one.
Okay.
And they're saying something that's not the same. That's a little off. So I'm
what was
kind
their
of
energy like? Were they just like, we need to get you in for a biopsy, like stat, or were they like, we're just gonna take?
I think because they do this every day.
Yeah,
they're so chill, calm, and collected, and I think they have to be that way because
they don't
I'm sure there's a lot of anxious people out there that would be like, oh my gosh, like if this was you, Brie, you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, I'm dying tomorrow.
I'd be giving you custody of my children.
Yeah, like we would be drawing up wills. All the things. Yeah. And so, no, they were real chill about it. They're like, they just walk you through the procedures and I don't know. They're just very
And why
chill.
work anyone up when you don't know?
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
This
I
is
just
more
feel like because it's something that they see every day. So like Dad, for example, if he sees oral cancer, he's going to tell the patient like, well, we just have to do a Velsco or an oral cancer screening. But he knows in the back of his mind whether or not it's something to be concerned about.
Exactly. But they're not going to tell you until it's official. Yeah. So maybe it is, and they're just not telling me.
Okay.
I don't know. We're going to find out next week when I'm in Dallas.
You better call me as soon as you get those results.
I will.
Give me the login to your portal, girl.
This girl would get the results before me.
She is too much. She is so fun.
Instead of get the Face ID set up on your phone so I can log into the portal.
She'll be logging in every hour. She's like, "Do we have the results?" She'll be texting me in Dallas like, like what's happening? How come they haven't
She's
posted
gonna get back to me
anything?
and say, "I have read the report." And
She Googles everything.
In conclusion, you're gonna live.
I've translated it
Yeah.
with the help of AI.
I would too. I would.
She surely would. I'm gonna put your email address instead of mine so that you get the email and I'll give you my login info.
No, because what if it's something bad? I'm not going to be the one to tell you.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
And you wouldn't want me to be the one to tell you.
To answer what she said, how did they react? How were they? How was their behavior? If you needed, if someone that was looking at everything thought it needed to be moved up in any escalation and tests needed to be ordered stat, that would have happened.
There we go. So nothing to see here.
Okay.
Nothing to see here.
That makes me feel better.
We're good.
I'll sleep tonight.
Bree, you're gonna be okay.
She's not going
You're gonna
into
be
emergency breast surgery
right?
today.
Leonette's like, I have a tumor. And I'm like, can you console me, though?
I know. I don't know. You know, I think I don't fear death. And so I think anything that's to come doesn't frazzle me because I don't fear death. What I do fear is how I die. So like, I don't want to be caught on fire. Like, I don't want to die while I'm like in flames. I don't want to drown, like suffocation. But other than that, I'm just not fearful of dying. Maybe it's my spiritual walk. I'm not afraid. And so maybe that helps. I don't know.
I'm terrified of death.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not afraid.
I have to agree with you. And I'm not trying to be dark, but I've always had this feeling that I'm going to go earlier than maybe I thought I wasn't years ago.
Like early how? Like
earlier than, I don't know,
40s,
100,
50s?
104 or...
Oh, damn. Girl.
So when did you start feeling this way?
In the last 5-6 years. And one of the reasons is sort of hopeful. I don't want to be a burden or a problem or trouble for my kids or for anyone. I want their lives to be easy and less stress, like less stressful than they have been, or any of the times that they have been. And if anything, I would like, one of my goals for my kids is to continue to parent in a way where I'm not a source of their stress.
I know, but what does that have to do with you dying early?
They're not going to have less stress.
I know when you're dead. Like, I don't get the, like, we're not, wait a minute.
She's like, I have come to peace with dying because my kids will be
less stressed.
Like, what?
Without me. What are we saying,
Okay, maybe I'm not saying it the right way.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want my kids, if I needed
to be in diapers.
Anything that someone felt the need that I had to be taken care of.
Okay.
I am actually totally fine with living in a commune with my friends, my old lady friends. And
that would be fun.
I could picture that you'd be in the star at the nursing home.
She'll have like her own little garden somewhere on site.
And we got to make sure we all wear condoms because that's like a prominent place for STDs.
I mean, really, you're on the edge. So, like...
okay.
Because they live on the edge over there.
I know. And
I remember when I was in school, and I doubt it's even changed, but people underestimate old people.
I know, but that's crazy how they are still able to like get it on. Like their bodies still work that way.
I watched The Golden Bachelor, and I'm watching The Golden Bachelorette.
Really?
The guy that the last episode, the guy that she danced with at the prom. Whoa.
Well, how old are they?
Wow.
Because I don't watch
like
any of that. Well, that's not old.
He's 61. He was a tall black guy with like
that is not
really in
old.
shape.
That's 6 years for Philip.
I don't actually think it's old. They're calling it golden. I agree. I don't think it's old either. But
in 6 years, but my Felipe will be right there.
My kids think I'm ancient.
Well, yeah.
Because they're,
I mean, my son thinks I'm ancient. I'm
Yeah.
30,
Yeah.
so.
They don't know. They don't know any better.
Yeah.
I feel young. I feel that I give off young energy.
I feel that way. That you do.
You do.
The person that I've been working with closely, she said she thought I was 35.
Well, stop
I was
that.
like,
You're like,
hey.
and I was a few years ago. That's good.
Yeah.
I got a compliment from the boob nurse.
See?
Yeah, she
said those are she said those are
my
nice
face.
ones.
This was after I had my clothes on. And she complimented my face.
Oh, well, you have a beautiful
When she saw
face.
my date of birth, she was like, wow, really?
You haven't
What's
changed
your
at all.
secret?
That you know how Facebook
A little
has,
Botox,
like,
a little facials.
the Facebook memories. There was a picture of us from
Like a long time ago.
I think it was 9 years.
Was it really?
I think it was 9 years ago. And I texted it to Lena and I was like, how the fuck have you not, like, you haven't aged. You look the exact same.
I mean, my face is a little rounder, but that's all.
I don't know. I don't feel that way.
I don't know.
I get comments every time Maddox and I are in public together. Not with Axel, but with Maddox. He'll be like, hey, Mom. And somebody will be like, Mom. Especially old men. They love to say that shit. That's not your mom. That's not your mom. Maddox is like, yeah, it is.
Oh, he's gonna.
They think
when
they're siblings, probably.
Or like
Every
she's
time.
this, maybe like
Every
the babysitter
time.
or something.
Yes.
It's gonna get worse when he's a teenager.
I mean, he towers over me now.
I know,
He's a
but
lot
when he's
taller
like
than me,
15,
so.
16, they're gonna think
believe it.
you're his girlfriend.
My mom. One time we were walking and Maddox and I banter with each other like all day. We just have like a joking type of mother-son relationship. And so we were like walking in somewhere and he like shoved me and I was shoving him back and blah. And she was like, y'all look like y'all are on a date. And I was like, Mom, what the fuck is my son? What the fuck is wrong
It's
with you?
weird.
But people always think that I'm his sister or his babysitter because
Yeah.
I'm white and he's black.
Yeah,
You have a baby face, though.
you do.
Thanks.
You do have a baby face. So when you're 44 like me,
I'm gonna get compliments from my
Yes.
titty doctor.
Yeah. Yes,
when you're
you
when you're
are.
35, like me.
you too will get the compliments.
Yeah, people don't.
It's so crazy, like our generation, like our 40s and 50s and 60-year-old women, and you look at like past generations, like when you're watching like the Golden Girls, and
Yes.
I know people compare their ages to us. It is a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. It's the hair.
Is it the hair?
I feel like the hair has a lot to do with it.
Like,
And the way they dress. Like 40-year-old,
Yeah.
if you look at like 90s television shows or even like early 2000s, the 40-year-olds dressed like how like 60-year-olds dress today. And they had that big ass hair and the fluffed up
Yeah.
bangs and stuff. And that ages you.
That's
that hairstyle
true.
ages you. But yeah, it's a
Hair.
huge difference.
Botox, I'm sure.
I
is
remember
helpful.
when I was like,
How you present yourself.
And I feel like we
does.
are very conscious of like exercise. I don't remember women back then. I mean, I'm sure there were some, but
Jazzercise
like we're really like
Yeah.
into exercising and walking, and
people are more aware of like what they're putting in their bodies
Yeah.
as far as like food goes and all of that stuff. But I feel like
less
it's
people
a huge
smoking
difference.
cigarettes.
Yes.
Yeah,
That could be
is
it,
true.
too.
They're not as trendy now. It's the vapes.
Well, yeah, but it
I could
doesn't
never.
it doesn't like pucker up your mouth and give you all the wrinkles.
Yeah.
Does it?
I don't know. I could never vape.
And the tanning. And the tanning.
And the
people
That
are
is
doing
true,
SPF.
too.
That's
That is
right, Shiny.
Because all my girlfriends, so
back in the
all my
80s and
girlfriends that
90s.
used to sunbathe, all my girlfriends that did,
with that baby oil slathered on them.
and I would hide under a tree because remember I said
Yes.
that I wasn't allowed to go
Be dark.
outside and be yes, because being tan and being dark was not seen as
Yeah, pretty.
exactly. And now they're having, things popped out of them or, punched, that punch biopsy and cut out of them. It's awful.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they were sunbathers.
I've always wanted to be dark.
Because I grew up in Florida.
Yeah.
It's common.
I'm black. That's how I feel.
Whoa. Yes, 5%.
I've
Don't
always-
forget.
No,
Don't forget.
I think that, and even with like black women, I remember when I was in like middle school and high school, the dark skinned girl, like the light skinned girls were the pretty girls.
Yeah.
And for me, if I see like a really dark black, it is the most beautiful complexion to me. There's just something about it that is like majestic almost. Yes. I don't know how to explain it.
Like royal.
Yes.
Like a royal.
Yes. Like a princess or something.
Well, I love that about you because didn't she mesh really well? She was the only person who was white when we all hung out at the pool.
Yes.
And didn't she mesh so beautifully?
Yes.
Like better than I expected.
So I knew she would. Like, so a few weeks ago, we went to our neighborhood pool and there was, how many girls? There was like
8, maybe?
8?
No, I counted, I think 9, I think.
And so we were all women of color, and except for Bree over here.
5%.
But it was 5% black. But it was funny because for some reason we got on the topic of like, oh, only white people do that. Like one of those conversations. Do you remember what it was?
Someone said something about that. And I think everyone kind of turned over to make sure.
To Bree's like, so sorry.
And she immediately.
And I'm like, this girl does not care.
What is it that you did? Because I'd never done this. Is it 23andMe or
23andMe.
And that's what you said. And that's,
what did you say exactly?
There's no telling on it. I was like, well, I'm actually black.
That's what she said. I'm like,
no need to worry about me.
And they all started cracking up. I'm like,
for real, I did 23andMe. And everyone just cracked.
They were like, we like her. She's cool.
Oh, and I brought okra, and they were like, we knew when you came in with the okra that you had soul.
Dude, that was really good.
Yes,
it was really good.
Yes, that was impressive.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cheesy when people say like, oh, I don't see color. Everybody sees color.
Yeah.
You know, like, of course, I know that you're Indian. I know that you're Hispanic. Yeah. We know that I'm white. Everybody sees color.
Yeah.
But I for some reason, I've always like like in middle school and high school, I always was jealous of the black girls. I wanted to be black so bad.
Well, you tan really nicely.
I do.
So
I do.
That goes. I mean, you don't like get bright
and mixed babies. I've always been a fan of. I love my little white baby, but I've always been a fan of like mixed babies and stuff. I get envious of things like that, and I think that's why I always say, like, I joke and say like I always wanted to be black. I feel like there's more cultures in other races, if that makes sense.
Like there's more like
traditions, cultures. Hispanics have their traditions, like their beautiful music and the dancing and the food and stuff like that. And
we are pretty amazing. Thank you.
And the same with black people too, and white people. We just hear what we do.
But the fact that you're intrigued, the fact that you find
when you put it like that, it makes me feel sorry.
No, I think it's beautiful that you find it intriguing and interesting, and you want to be a part of it. I think that's wonderful.
Well,
because I know a lot of let's say it. I know a lot of white people who could care less.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like, their groups are the KKK, and they feel rarely happy being in that quote unquote traditional world. I know that's a little extreme, but or if you grow up in like in a country town, like they're very
like hunting. That's what we do. We fucking hunt and go fishing. Like, I don't want that.
I think because you're 5% black, I think that's why you're conflicted and like,
Yes. I look in the mirror and I'm dark skinned, okay?
You're trapped in a white girl's body, and so here we are.
Like I've always had like this longing to be included in something, like anything. I've always wanted to be included. So like even with like old friends that used to work at the office and her husband, they would like shoot guns and hunt and fish and listen to country music and go down the river, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is not my lifestyle, okay?
But you hung in there for a little bit. You tested it out.
It was fun. Yeah. It was fun, but there was nothing beautiful about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's something so beautiful, like Mushka's family, for example. They all get together, and there's a meal that she cooks every time and listen to Hispanic music, and everybody knows the words, and they dance and stuff like that. And the same with black people. And that's beautiful to me. There's nothing beautiful about killing a deer.
Well, I appreciate it because I grew up feeling the opposite. I felt so different, felt so out of place. Mm-hmm. And I remember feeling like no one would even, as a young person, I felt like no one would even look my way because they could not get past my skin color.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even the other day when you had, what is it called?
A bindi.
What is it?
A bindi, bindhi.
The red dot on the forehead.
The bindi, I was like fascinated by it, and I think that's such a cool thing. There's so much. There's like you do things and there's a purpose behind them, and it's consistent, and I think that's beautiful.
Thank you for saying that. So it took me years to appreciate who I was, being brown, thinking it's beautiful. And I think I really only embraced it after I became a mother, because I wanted my children to not feel the way I felt as a kid. I was in a protected space. I went to an all Indian church. All my friends, we all hung out during the week. So it's, I didn't have play dates, but it was controlled. The setting was controlled, who I hung out with, where I went. So there was all Indian friends. And then when we went from kindergarten to college together.
That's so crazy every time you...
Which I think that's amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And they were all in my wedding. I got lucky. I say lucky because had I not moved and had to leave private school that all my Indian friends were at and have to go to public school, and had I not met best friends like Taryn and Lauren and Stacey, which they're predominantly, the group is Jewish because I live in a Jewish community in South Florida, I wouldn't have realized that other people would see me too, and welcome me with open arms and be my friend. Maybe I still thought guys didn't find me attractive, or no one really wanted to date me. I did think that, but in time, I slowly realized, okay, I'm not ugly. My color is beautiful too. And I really wanted to get my kids to feel that way. And on that topic, I feel as if the world is changing more now, where we feel more accepted.
Oh yeah.
But I think people, I'm a mystery. When people see me, they don't know where I'm from.
And that's so cool.
I think it's really cool because I feel like I'll get a genuine approach then. If someone...
I think it's crazy because when I see you, I see an Indian woman. And for some reason, it baffles me that people would see you any different than what you are. And then it kind of, to me, shows where these people probably didn't travel a lot. Because
that's interesting to say, because last week
I see you as Indian and they think you're like mixed, black and white. And I'm like, I don't really, I understand that perspective, but
I don't see
God, I don't see it either. Me too. And I'm like, well, damn, where are these people like?
Well, last week, somebody, an older white gentleman, he wanted to know my name and introduce himself. And he said, ¿Cómo se llama?
You stop that. You stop that right this minute. No. And you're like
Indian.
You're like, yo no hablo español. Wait, are you for real? What did you say?
So I said, I'm not of Latin descent. I'm Indian. My name is Shiney. Nice to meet you. And that was it. But I have to say, I have a rush of so many feelings because, like I said, I know I'm a mystery and people don't know. And I say this because you guys say that you see me as an Indian person, but I would say most of the time, majority of the time, people have no idea.
Yeah.
And I don't mind at all.
Yeah,
because I kind of, it's kind of cool.
It's like, too. I am a mystery.
Yeah,
it is
cool
nice.
to be like mysterious, right?
Yeah.
And if that person has something against this stereotype, like this group or that group, and has a stereotypical opinion on that person, I'll really get to see how that person really is.
Yeah. And
so when this gentleman approached me that way, I didn't like it.
Really? Because he's assuming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't mind. I think I grew up in South Florida. Latin food is my favorite besides Indian food, and the culture is beautiful. And some of my closest friends are from the beautiful Latin countries. But what I didn't like about it is assumptions. Like, don't make assumptions. I want someone to just ask me.
Yeah.
I think it's sad from a white person's perspective. I think it's sad that it's become such a taboo thing. As a white woman, I get nervous to ask people, like, what is your race? What is your ethnicity?
I don't mind.
What is your background?
And neither do I.
But it's because of white people who have made other races feel less than, or the white people are always superior in the past, and so it became like this taboo thing. And so I feel like there are white people who made it that way, that it was a less than thing. So therefore, if a white person comes up to somebody and says, "Well, where are you from?" It seems like it's ill intention behind it.
Okay, this is really great that you say it. It isn't. It's tone.
And I know for me, I'm, like I said, I'm always curious. I would love to know all about your culture. I know a lot about, I know your mom and things like that. And, Mushka, whose whole family is Hispanic. And I would love to know more. I am genuinely curious about where someone's from. If somebody's Hispanic, I don't know how to tell right off the bat where they're from. And so I always am curious, especially because sometimes there are ways that I'm able to relate. Like if somebody's Colombian, I can say, oh, my son is Colombian or Guatemalan, or, my family friend is Puerto Rican, so, but I do feel nervous sometimes asking people.
That's understandable.
I think it's like, we know the approach,
and
like the tone, like you said, Shiney.
How do you ask? Do you say, what is your race? Do you say, what is your ethnicity? Do you say, how do you ask?
I prefer, what is your ethnicity? I feel like when people ask, where are you from? I've learned through the years.
People say America.
Yeah, they don't want to know that I'm like, I live in Georgia. Like they want to, that's their way of asking.
Ethnicity.
I prefer just to be, I like honest and upfront people.
Yeah.
I don't like this whole, sneak around the corner. I want to know, just, what's your ethnicity? I'm proud to be Puerto Rican and Dominican.
It's taboo, unfortunately.
And I love to say I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican. Like, I have no problems. We are mysteries sometimes because we all come in different shapes and sizes. The only people that know that I am Hispanic if they've been around Hispanic people, and that's black men mostly. The black men know a Puerto Rican when they see her. Yeah. I go like random. Like I remember I was like a year or two ago at getting my oil changed at a Jiffy Lube. He looked at me. He's like, "You Puerto Rican, aren't you?" I'm like, "I am." He's like, "Yeah, I knew it." So there's some people that just come out, and I love it because if you just come out and just say it, or if they're looking, it's like, what do you make? Like, what are you mixed with? I've had that. I love that. I don't like, where are you? Like, just come out and fucking ask me. Yeah. Stop beating around the bush.
But that's the kind of person you are, but not everybody's like that. And I'm ignorant to it. And
minorities are okay.
Spanish, like when you and Mushka speak Spanish, I've heard both of you say that you guys speak differently.
We do.
But to me, someone who doesn't speak Spanish, I would never know that.
Oh yeah,
like,
we speak very differently.
I don't know that you have a Puerto Rican accent or she has a Colombian accent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I remember one time, I'll never forget it. This was probably like, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe, and Mushka was like, the way Leonette talks is so beautiful. I'm like, she's speaking the same language as you. What do you mean?
It's very different.
And she's like, there's just a way that Puerto Ricans talk, like a slang. Yeah, I think she used the word slang.
It is very slang.
Or maybe you use that word.
We're very straight.
Somebody used the word slang.
Yeah,
and she was like, the way her Spanish is so beautiful. I'm like,
she said that because sometimes my Spanish is very also American, so it's very nice from an authentic Colombian to say that.
I don't know the difference. So therefore, somebody who is Hispanic, and if you're talking to them in Spanish, they might have an idea of that you're Puerto Rican.
They do. They know.
But as a white woman that speaks, I
had that last week.
Half black, half white woman.
5% black.
Yes, 5. You could add a 0 after it if you want. I think it's funny because other Indian people don't know I'm Indian.
How?
Yes, it happens all the time.
Well,
I'm from very, very south.
I don't know.
Very deep
Maybe
south.
But isn't there different? I've heard you say things like there's different levels, almost like a hierarchy, kind of.
Oh, I mean that's in every state, but there's different states in India, and we're all different. So
they've never been to your state?
But didn't you say
They've never been to your state to see that?
what is
I think
your
now.
state
I think
called?
now. I'm from Kerala. Kerala. It is it's more rural, and they call it God's own country because it's very very green, and a lot of other states have
That's
become.
what Philip says about Arkansas, but go ahead. You guys will have to have a debate. He says it all the time. That's God's country. I'm like, okay. But go ahead.
Because there's other regions who've become a little bit more westernized or certain. So where I'm from, yes, it wasn't a popular tourist place, but it has become that way because the food is different, the culture is different, everything's different. But if I were to ask an Indian person, because I know that they're Indian, if I were to say, where are you from? What I'm really asking is where in India.
Yeah.
So usually they'll say India because they don't think I'm Indian. And I will say, yes, I know. What part of India? And then they will answer. And then I will say, I'm from Kerala. And they will be like, really?
Really? Right as we were talking about Spanish and culture, the phone rings and Briana, Mushka, as she calls her, is her like adopted grandmother. It's actually her oldest son's great grandmother. And so she has a really, really amazing relationship with her. But as we're talking about Spanish and how she appreciates how I speak, she calls. And so let's listen in on that conversation. Such a coincidence. We did not do that on purpose.
We're taking lunch with Abby here in the house.
Oh, what kind of
Because I don't have a car.
What'd you cook?
Lentils
Oh, okay. I don't like that.
with bacon and everything.
Oh, nice.
We were just talking about you, Mushka. We're recording for the podcast, and we were just talking about you.
We were talking about how one time, because I was telling Leonette that I can't differentiate, like if somebody's Hispanic, I know that they're Hispanic, but I can't tell where they're from. But if I see somebody Hispanic, I want to know why, because if they say, oh, I'm from Colombia, I could say, oh, my grandmother's from Colombia. And then one time I remember you telling me that the way Leonette talked, you were like, I love her Spanish, the way she talks. And I was like, y'all are speaking the same fucking language. What do you mean? And you said it was different.
It is different. But it's very different.
Because I only speak English for now.
Everybody, other countries speak different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every country has their own way of...
Yes. That you know, you are from Puerto Rico, you are from... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and I can't remember if it was you or Leonette, but somebody said that hers was more like slang. And I would never know that.
Well, we cut off a lot of our syllables.
So give me a word that you would say differently than mushka in Spanish.
Why are you putting me on the spot like that?
What's a word that Leonette says differently than you in Spanish?
I don't remember right now. Come on.
I know. Oh. Well, some of vocabulary is different.
Yes.
So would it be considered like, in English, would it be considered like a Southern accent versus a...
Like even as simple as like banana or like... So in Puerto Rico, we say, for beans, we say arroz con habichuelas. But some people say frijoles.
Mushka says frijoles.
So we say habichuela.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
We never call it frijoles ever.
Habichuela for me is green beans.
See?
So, but okay, so if Leonette said that to you, would you know she was talking about like black?
Yeah.
We are living here for 52 years and we have a lot of Puerto Rican people, Mexican people, Peruvian people around, so I understand.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So we say a lot of things that are very different as far as like simple stuff like car. We say carro. So like for a bus, we say guagua.
What do you call a bus, Mushka?
Bus.
Or bus, yeah.
Bus. Let me get on that bus.
So like, for example, we say for a banana, we say guineo. And when I said guineo to a Mexican person, they call their bananas plátanos. But I call plátanos, for me, plátanos are the green...
The plantains.
The plantains that we fry.
Maduros or
yeah. But maduros for us is when it becomes like sweet.
Yes. Yeah.
That's when we call it maduros. So it's very different. Just vocabulary.
I thought the maduros were the flat, salty ones.
We call those tostones.
Tostones. Yes. I did know that.
Tostone is salty, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So just something simple as that. But we still understand. And if I don't understand the word, then I just ask, like, what you talking about, Willis?
Well, thank you for that insight, Mushka.
Mushka, do you want to be on my podcast? Because we just recorded you.
Just, is that part okay? That
It's
was
only
small.
3 minutes.
Yeah. You could be fucking famous. What?
I need her to sign a waiver first. No, I'm kidding.
I love you, Bree.
I love you too,
I love you,
Mushka.
Lynette.
Love you too, Mushka.
We'll call you
Gloria.
after.
Bye, Gloria.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Mushka. Love you. Bye.
That was your grandma?
It's a long story.
That is her
my-
son's great grandmother.
Got it.
My son's great grandmother.
Yeah,
So
so-
it's my baby daddy number one's grandma.
Okay.
Yes.
But she is also my grandma.
Yeah.
They're very, very close.
Very close. We talk like 5 times a day.
Aww.
And that's why she just called me 3 different times because she's like.
Because you didn't answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
She will. If I don't answer, she'll blow me up.
She
I'm
will.
surprised she's not standing outside like this.
Oh, no. And if she doesn't answer, she'll call me.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, have you talked to Briana?
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Which I've given them reason. Okay.
Oh, no, there's been reasons why. So
Yeah.
when she doesn't answer, it's because she's passed out drunk somewhere.
Well, not recent. Sometimes.
No, not recently.
Sometimes I'm just like.
No.
taking a
I'm not
shower.
talking about now.
But
I'm talking
in the
about the past.
like in the
Yes.
pits of my when
And
I was in the trenches of my
It's
alcoholism.
PTSD.
Yeah,
For us.
I would go hours without answering, and that's not me.
That's not
I
her.
always have my phone on me.
Like literally, it's tied to her hand.
Yes, always.
So, yeah.
So if I don't answer, she'll call me back to back. Or if I call her and she doesn't answer, and so I call somebody else, and I'm like, oh well, I'm already talking to somebody else. I'll call her later. Absolutely no, you won't, because she gonna call you 15 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
She's
it's out of
she's
love.
very concerned for
Yes.
you. She really adores you, which is, I don't know if we can get into the dynamics of all of this, but
Probably not.
It's a very big family. She has 4 kids, and her baby daddy's mother, which is her daughter. The reason we know Briana is because her baby daddy's mom worked in our practice. So the dynamics are like, she doesn't like me, she doesn't like Bree, she can't stand Bree's guts. So it's interesting that her mother still interacts with us, which is special.
Well, I mean, sometimes the most random person, and you may not be close with them, or you weren't. Well, the reason they were in your life was to bring someone.
That's
else.
how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I
met
feel.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
the person that brought us together. Stephanie and people always ask, because we've traveled together, we've done a lot of things together, and she has a million friends and best friends. But we met through a mutual friend, and they were neighbors in her previous home.
Mm-hmm.
They were neighbors, and her and I, the friend, her and I met through a mom's group, and she introduced us because she said that we have a lot in common and we'd get along. And now we have been friends for years, and we're not friends with the person who introduced us. I mean,
It's a weird.
it's random.
It's a weird dynamic, and I'm a firm believer in like you choose your own family, because I have my friends who I love, like friends, even close girlfriends who I love, but then I have other people who are truly my family.
Yes.
And like, although Mushka is not my blood, she is truly my grandmother.
I feel the same way.
And it's like with Leonette and Dr. Talley. I genuinely love her. Like, I know this sounds bad and she hates to hear it, but it's almost like equivalent to my own mom and or a sister.
I had her at 14.
But it's a weird. I genuinely love Dr. Talley more than I love my biological.
I 100% understand and on the same level. I'm closer to some people, to my friends, more than my own.
Yeah.
Some of my family members. Yes.
And family wise, I have like my true family. I have my mom and my 2 sisters.
Okay.
That's all I have in regards to family.
Well, you have your drug addicted father.
but I don't have him.
Oh, well,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
Like I genuinely don't have him. I got a whole ass family out there, but
you're not close to them.
No, like the people that I communicate with. Well, my dad's little sister and I actually are back in communication. My aunt, who I lived with a few times growing up, but really in my day-to-day life, like I have my mom and my two sisters, and that's it as far as family goes. But I have a dad, which is Dr. Tally, and I have a sister.
Your beautiful older Puerto Rican Dominican sister.
Yes, Leonette. But and so it's I was thinking about it the other day. Can you, like, looking back, so I found my mom has like an album of photos of like different people, and she has an album of pictures of me, and one of the albums was from Maddox's first birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And Leonette and Dr. Tally were both there, and it was almost 12 years ago.
Yeah, she sent this picture. I was like, first of all, I've aged amazing because I am so much better looking now than I was then. I got that typical mom look, short bob. Like I was like, oh my gosh.
But then I was an employee.
Philip looked really cute though. He all looked all young. I was like, look at him looking all young and stuff.
He does look young.
Yeah.
But it's so funny looking back at that picture. At that time, I was just an employee to him, and then they were close friends with my son's grandmother at the time. So I was just an employee to him, and then just like this, you know, her son's baby mama, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just so funny how the year, like looking back, if I would have never pictured us being as close as we are now. You know what I mean?
See, the fact is, and just like how you started off the set is, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah,
exactly. Ooh, look at her bringing it back around.
But God does.
Look at Shiney bringing it back around. It's true. You see, and that's what I mean. Maddox is going to be 12. So and just say it's even been.
Well, I met you guys before I was pregnant.
Exactly, but I feel like our closeness has come even. I don't know, maybe like 9-10 years, maybe even less than that.
I would say probably like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Shiney, because you just don't know. You see how it is right now. You can't see into the future.
And I want you to know that like fear is a liar.
Yeah.
It's and having anxious feelings and all that is so normal, and I have struggled my whole adult life with it for really bad, and I finally have a grip, and I think the grip is that it's faith.
Yeah.
Not fear. Faith over fear, and believing that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
I know.
And having and even it's not only me believing it, I know it will, because if it doesn't, I'll still be okay.
Yeah.
So I think that is my prayer for you.
Thank you.
I mean, the way I look at things when I'm feeling down, first of all, I have to like look around and see that I woke up, I'm walking, I have a home, I have food to eat. Yeah. And I know it feels like a struggle sometimes for you, but you have to see where you've come from. Like you literally have to sit down and see. I even go back to like, wow, I was this little girl born in Puerto Rico, 2 teenage parents that had no business having a baby. You know, they were forced to get married because my grandma was Catholic, and she's like, well, you guys have to get married because we have a baby on the way. I could have stayed in Puerto Rico. I could have lived that lifestyle because where we're from, it's not the touristy parts that people see. To where I am now, never, when I had Kaylin at 21, never did I envision my life the way it is now. Did I want it to be this way? Of course I did. But did I think it was realistic at that time? No, I did not, if I was being honest with myself. And so I always, when I'm feeling down, because even with all the things that you see around here, you know, I still get down on myself and feel like I need to be somewhere else. And I know your situation is way different, but I've been there where you just feel like you're in a hole, that it's dark, you're alone, you have this child, You have to be connected to the baby daddy for forever. And so I remember that and feeling like, this is it. This freaking sucks and this is it. And I would just sit and cry and cry and cry. I cried for like 2 years, it seemed like. Yeah. No, how old? I married Philip at 4 when she was 4. So like for 3 years, I just cried. And I'm like, this is this shitty life. What did I do? Because really, it was our decisions that brought us to where we are. Exactly. And that's where a lot of the frustration comes from. Like, why?
That's the hardest. That's the hardest part to grasp. Yeah. Because even like in my situation now, Maddox, when I had my oldest, I was able to give myself a little bit more grace because I was literally a child, you know? So I'm like, but now I'm having a harder time forgiving myself for choices that I've made because, you know, I'm 30 and I didn't play the tape all the way through, I guess. I wanted that family dynamic so bad. And so I'm angry with myself. Yeah. But in the same breath, like, I'm thankful because I can't imagine my life without my son. Exactly. And I love him so much. But I'm like, I love him so much that it still hurts because I don't want him to grow up the way that.
But you don't know if that's going to happen. Like, you don't really know what's going to transpire. What you need to start doing is, I know you're crying it out when you're by yourself, and that's, you should. I mean, this is a shitty situation, but you need to start like making decisions today as to what the future looks like. And you do have control over that. And like Shiney said, you have to let that fear go. You really do. And stop looking back and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because we can't change it. That is such a tormenting, like, I did it for years. Like, you're just like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And it's just, you're just in this constant cycle. As soon as I dropped that, and I think when I started talking on this podcast is when I truly started thinking, okay, stop harping on the fucking past. Like, get over it. You can't change it. Mm-hmm. So what, like, look at my life now. What can I do to, like, stop harping on the past? We can't change it. Yeah. And once I started understanding that I can't change it, I'm look at it to learn the lessons. What do I want to move forward with? What don't I want to move forward with? That's what we need to think about with the past. I'm so much more at peace. I don't cry as much because I would cry all the time. And Philip's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Even my mom's like, your life is so beautiful. I'm like, I know, but on the inside, I just feel so empty and so like lost. It's because I'm ruminating on shit that I can't change.
Yeah. And give yourself credit.
Yeah.
You are way ahead of the game because you are self-aware.
Exactly.
Only 15%, I think.
After the fact. I'm self-aware after the fact.
No, but you're self-aware about your
involvement,
exactly.
Your responsibility, yes. the fact that you feel bad. There are people walking around today that think they're self-aware and that think everything is everybody else's fault and problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gratitude.
You've got this.
Yes.
We're gonna be talking about this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you're gonna look back and we're just gonna laugh about how far you've come.
Can't wait.
We're going to be somewhere drinking our non-alcoholic martinis and just enjoying life. Yeah. Like, I really see it for you. And I keep saying that, and I'm going to keep saying it because I believe it for you.
I hope so.
And if you make another stupid-ass decision, I'll punch you in the face.
I know.
Okay, I won't punch you because your face is too pretty, but
I'll be really angry.
I'll be very upset with you.
Yeah, I think I've learned my lesson.
Well, on that goes. I think how we should end is on that video that you sent me, Shiney, which I think pertains to where we are in our lives. We're growing, the three of us. We are wanting to surround ourselves with amazing people that lift us up, not people that bring us down. And Shiney sent me a video. She sends me so many awesome videos. I'm just like, yes, I'm going to conquer the world. But this one is about negative people. So
what I gathered from it, because it's been a minute since I've probably sent you 100 other things after that, but it was this study. They call it the bad apple effect. Mm-hmm. And they put a person in groups of five, and they put a person in the groups, a few of the groups, and that person is the bad apple, meaning that person exudes negative energy, they drain you, all the things that we're going to say real quick. And
everyone else is positive, right?
And then there's the other groups, and everybody's positive. And the amount of growth that came from the groups that cheered each other on, were there for each other, validated each other, lifted each other up, thrived immensely. And the groups that are 5 people, that means 4 other people are still survivors, thrivers, ready to endure anything. But that one bad seed who is the negative Nelly, who is the Debbie Downer, all of that, brought them down.
Like the whole group, one person, that one negative person brings those 4 other people down. So that just shows how controlling a negative energy can be. I'm done with that.
And thoughts. Like negative thoughts, and because I am perpetuate about and I realize I can't stop it. It's something that I'll have to continue retraining myself, is I'm innately so harsh to myself. And I know you're here and see little bits of it that I will let out. And I am really even trying to be intentional not to. But the amount that you don't hear, it's bad. And it's become my self-talk for many, many reasons. And I'll get into that in length some other time. But it's so hard to tell myself I can do it. And I caught myself, I was heading to yoga this weekend. I don't remember what day it was this weekend. I think it was Sunday. I was heading to yoga, and I had a really, really busy weekend. One of my questions for you guys was, how was your weekend? But it was really because I wanted to talk about mine. But
I love it. The honesty, I love it.
I know. She's like, I just really want to tell you about mine.
That's typically the intention a lot of times.
yeah, when people ask, they're like, yeah.
Well, I asked because I want to know about your weekend.
So on Sunday, heading to yoga, I out loud in my car, I was saying, Shiney, you are good. You got this. People like you. You're nice. I said these corny statements that, like, look at my water bottle.
Yeah.
That I have.
She has stickers on her water bottle. You are gentle. You are peaceful. You are loved.
Because my personal narrative, if I started telling you, it would be a downer. It's horrible what I do to myself. And this is not self-inflicted. These, unfortunately, I have given off some type of vibe that people should tell me exactly what they're thinking about me, or how I should be leading my life, or what I'm doing wrong, and be very raw and mean. I have somehow given off a vibe that you can tell me all these things. And
you'll take it.
And the truth is, it's because I can take it. And I believe that people who do know that about me, I think they're shocked at how I can still persistently, intentionally, and mindfully still stay positive, not only about other people and their lives, but about mine. And that I'll be okay. Because I used to throw myself a monthly pity party. It was usually a party of one.
Yes.
But anybody could be invited. Anybody could come. And I no longer do that anymore because it was so
Well, if you
bad
get
for
bored
me.
and you want to attend mine are once a day.
Not once a day. Damn. She's like, I'll see your once a month to once a day.
Girl, if I could tell you what I see in you.
I know.
I could go on and on.
I know. We see the same thing. But go ahead.
So, what I was saying is that I had so much gratitude, and I hope I have time to share this, but I had so much gratitude for my culture and my upbringing this weekend, and I needed that because
What brought that on, would you say?
So I've been very conflicted because I'm Indian. I'm South Indian, so I'm darker. I've got curly hair. I've got a big butt and a smile. I don't know the characteristics.
That sounds phenomenal.
I know. I'm like, wait, isn't that in a rap
Dark
song
skin,
somewhere?
curly hair, big butt, and a good smile. Shit, sign me up.
But I was never proud of it. I think there were moments because I studied our classical dance and music, and I was very involved. But I think because it was forced and it wasn't by choice, and the friends I grew up with, and in 2020 when I realized not everyone is that nice to me, and some of them unfortunately are some of my Indian friends, and I had to let them go. I kind of had this fear a little bit.
Were the Indian friends that weren't nice to you, were they also South Indian, or were they from a different part of India?
They were actually South Indian as well.
Okay.
And it was...
And you guys were very close.
Yes.
Because when I met you, I met them, and it was like a tight group. Very tight.
Yes, and I actually introduced all of them to each other.
Oh, damn.
And so now they're a group, and I'm a party of one. But...
3.
I know. I was gonna say, well, what are we? What are we?
No, I meant of the indie, and I don't, because so this weekend I had an event to go to that my friend had been planning for months and months and months. She's Indian, and I have actually 2 Indian friends from Gavin and Dylan's choir, and we've become friendly over time, and I really like them. And so she was throwing this big event, and I remember telling one of my friends who knows Indian people, and I said, I'm going to this big event. I wish you could come with me. It's like black tie. It's all dressy. You get to wear the clothes, and I know you would love it to be my friend to come with me. And she's like, is this like one of those Indian events where they're just really showing off how amazing their kids are? I said, we do like to do that, but I don't think that's what this.
Wait, they're showing? Wait, you guys have those kind of parties where you show off your children?
Well, so I grew up where when anyone came to my house, the living room turns into a show. I'm dancing. I'm literally, I have videos of this. I'm performing for them. I'm playing the piano.
You're the entertainment.
Yeah.
The free entertainment. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I grew up. So anyways, I said, I don't know yet. I'm not exactly sure what the program is, but my friend, she invited 600 people. But Indian events, we do it big.
600 people.
You
guys know a lot of people.
I couldn't even invite 6 people.
I know. I'm like, I don't even know if I know 600 people.
Yes, you do.
I know a lot of people, but 600 seems a little steep.
Okay,
but go ahead.
So my wedding was 540.
Yeah, that's insane.
540. We invited, I think, 850. Wow. That's very normal. So she had a lot of people she was inviting. So anyways, and I dressed everybody up. I actually dressed 3 of my friends up, and it was really fun. So my point was, when we got there, it was a 3-hour event. They, we always have food at our events. That's, I would say, a pretty national Indian thing too. And her kids are super talented. So her son sang and performed, and her daughter played the guitar. So they performed a lot. But what it really was is they honored all of the teachers over the years that put music into their kids.
Oh, that's cool.
And they called them up and gave them a gift and flowers and a Indian put it on a shawl over their shoulders. And then they even honored all the musicians that were up on stage that played for them. And so my friends, of course, are just in awe. And I said, this is one of those things that I am so happy that people who aren't Indian get to see. because this program really, yes, you see their kids performing the whole time. And yes, they're amazingly talented and great. But really what it was about was honoring all the amazing teachers who give their time, effort, energy, and love and passion and make our kids what they are. And that made me proud, because growing up, my mom told me, she was a nurse, but she told me she wanted to be a teacher. And I, of course, my whole life I asked, like, why? But in where we're from, in India, when you are a teacher, you are called teacher your whole life, even after you're done. Just like here in America, how they call someone a doctor, even if they're retired. And there's that amount of respect. And I feel like that was the one part of peace that I don't see here, unfortunately, is like that high, utmost respect for our teachers.
Our teachers are treated like shit.
And I felt like so many feelings, because I was so proud for people to see, because unfortunately teachers, are underappreciated, undervalued,
underpaid,
out to slaughter, like all these things. And they are so amazing. They give everything. So I just wanted to share, I really wanted to share that, because I had so much gratitude for that cultural tribute that they did. I segued the conversation so I could talk about my weekend, but I really, really wanted to share it with you guys.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we will leave you with this quote.
The degree to which a person can grow is directionally proportional to the amount of truth he can accept about himself without running away.
Love it. Love it.
Until next time. Thank you so much for listening to Virago 24/7. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and please give us 5-star ratings. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Virago 24_7 and on Facebook at Virago 24/7, and just connect with us and share your story. We'd love to hear from you.